Hey everybody, Calier here. Thanks for stopping by. I have some nice little treats here for you. If you read the description, well, I guess it's not much of a surprise, but probably so. You know, we've got a lot going on here. It's kind of fun. A lot coming up. I'm going to be doing a second episode of Picking a Daisy on eBay. The first episode of that is up on Facebook. So if you want to check it out, go to facebook.com/picking a daisy. I'm pretty sure that's it, right? Um, what else? Of course, the stickers are out. So I'm even going to have if you just want to do old school, mail in $4, and I have a mailing address if you want to just mail in $4, get yourself a Picking a Daisy sticker. And there was something else. Oh, right. Like I said, I'm going to be showing the Model C next. That's what's coming up. I was actually going to do that, but I couldn't help myself to point these out because the 155s are sort of interesting in their history, I'd say. And I almost think there's something else, but I just can't think of it right now. That's all right. Let's get right to it. So the 155, let's see which one this is. The 155, yeah, that's the one. Yes. Now, there is a 155 that came out in, let me see, the Iron Lever, which was 1946. So that was right after World War One, right? And look, the cast iron lever. Think about this. The Red Riders. I don't think by 1946 there are any cast iron levers being put on the Red Riders. I think by 1946 they went to aluminum. Only the variant 1 and 2 and variant 1, 2, or 3, one of them are impossible to find, so you can almost erase one variant over the other. Or is this? This looks like it's painted. Do I have this wrong? All right, well, let's just get right to it. I have to do a little research on this, unless, of course, it's very obvious. Let's look at it. Let's look at both of these. As you can hear, have no BBs in them. Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely aluminum, this top one. And the bottom one here, it looks like it was painted, but it also looks like it's cast iron, not aluminum. So I'm usually you really can tell, but what's throwing me here is this paint. And I'm just catching this now. I was pretty convinced that this, I didn't even question it, that this was probably, that this was cast iron, not even probably. So now the 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 iron lever was put out in 1946. If this has cast iron lever, then we know that this is in 1946. The aluminum lever came out, of course, 1947, just like all the Red Riders and all of them thereafter. And this is definitely an aluminum lever. And these, again, were made between 1947 and 1949. Now, the 155 was reintroduced in 1952 to 1953. By 1953, they started painting the barrels. These are all blue barrels. Now, I wanted to bring these up because, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of the new Daisy Buck, the youth carbine. Big fan. In fact, I just happen to have one right here, and it is ready to go. It has the Daisy Buck, by the way, it holds 400. That's the capacity on the Daisy Buck. These are a 1,000 shot, both the 1946 and the 1947 and thereafter. They're all 1,000 shots. I'm going to refer to this later, but let's lay it on the table here for comparison's sakes. There you go. Now, of course, these aren't original. Well, maybe this is, but these two screws are not original, or nuts rather. Nuts missing here. I almost wonder if that's fell off on me. I'm gonna have to go look around and see. Definitely not an original nut. Screws look original. Not quite sure about these little washers. I'm pretty sure those washers aren't original, but I see them often enough to wonder now, especially these little inside star-shaped washers. So it's really hard to say that these guns are all that different. Of course, the new ones have the non-removable shot tube. Again, this is a 105B. This is a 155. So very, very similar, except for just shorter, right? And of course, the stock is shorter. Now, this is what I wanted to bring up. I don't have a 102 right now to, yeah, I'll be comparing the 102s and the 105 and the 155 in another video. But the 102 is interesting because the 102 came out in 1933. Again, this didn't come out until 1946. Now, the 102 was it's a 500 shot, so the capacity, again, there's not one on the table here, but the 102, which is very similar to this as well, and this, it only had half the capacity. So this is a 1,000 shot. The 102 was a 500 shot, or is a 500 shot. And again, that first came out in 1933, and they made the 102 Model 33 between 1933 and 1935. Then the 102 Model 34, again a 500 shot, came out in 1936 and was made between 1936 and 1940. The aluminum lever came in on the 102 in about 1950. And then there's the 102 Cub, which is a 350 shot. And that had a blued barrel, wooden stock, and that was made between 1952 all the way up into 1978. So the 102 Model 36, still a 500 shot, made between 1936 and 1940. And then, of course, the war came, so there were no productions of these air guns, pretty much between the 1940 geez, early 40s, 1940, 1942 maybe, and all the way through 1946, right? So these are interesting because the war ended, World War II ended, and they began production again, and they sort of upped the game with the 155 from the 102. They created this 155. So interesting. I would say the design differences between the 155, the 105B, and the 102 and the 102 Cub even are really just stock lengths, barrel lengths, and capacity. And then as soon as we hit the, 1953, you've got the painted barrels, and by 1954 you've got the plastic, right? So as I was talking here, I should have just been loading these, because that's what we're really here for. I mean, sure, it's nice to talk about these. Let's elderly first, huh? Let's do this. Now you can see. I'm usually not this awkward, but I'm trying to get it so you can see. This is a nice little method if you want to load these. Just get a little tin where they can fall into. And you're still going to drop some, of course. It's all right. It's all right. Now, let's see what we can hit. We're going to go ahead and hit that. Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18. I'd say it's about 20 yards. Let's say 15, 20 yards. We'll be hitting targets in that range of the 15, 20 yards. Here with the the model 155. And if this is cast iron, then this will be coming from 1946, meaning this is what they started making right after one of the models that they started production right after World War II. Oh, look at that. That was a miss, by the way. This is where the triggers are the trigger pull is atrocious. Wow. All right, just to show. Oh. There it is. You can get that, the dieseling that's happening. These are nice and freshly oiled. I've learned a little something that when you drop a little oil down in there, I remove the shot tube and try to get the oil directly down on there. I'll also probably put a little bit of oil on the end of the shot tube and put it in there to get the oil and the leather nice and lubricated. Well, when I do that, I'll even let it sit overnight in a vertical position. When then I'll take the shot tube out and wipe off any excess. But often the oil that's in the barrel gets onto the BB and throws off the aim something horrible. So I'm going to definitely say it's the gun this time and not the shooter. Okay. Yeah, see, this is too close range to be missing. And this is sort of shooting over the target right now. There we go. Sometimes you get a cleaner BB. Now, the reason I don't clean that up is because I don't mind having a nice oil BB going through the inside of the shot tube. And after a while, the excess oil gets carried off by shooting the BBs. Oh yeah, that's nice. See, now it's hitting strong. Yeah. So maybe we can shoot something out. Jeez. Yeah, I would say you can even hear it. They're not rolling around all that freely because there's got a lot of oil that the BBs are kind of picking up, and then that unbalances the BB. But that's okay. I don't have any problem with that. That's sort of my lazy man's way of making sure the gun stays lubricated inside and then out. These sacks, by the way, are silicone treated polyester little sleeves, and they work really nice to help keep the moisture off of them. All right, let's get to this one right here. Now this is, we know for sure this one was made between 1947 and 1949. Again, one of those post-war 1,000 shot guns that was sort of an improvement. Well, think of not just the Bennett was 1,000 shot, one of the first production early 1900s. So it's probably more marketing than anything else, the different kinds. There's also an interesting story about Daisy when they acquired Upton. We'll not talk about too much right now, but just to remind me. Now, there might not be as much oil. This trigger is just the opposite. It's a hair trigger. And it's shooting nice. That was a hit. Shouldn't have been. Trigger's so hair, it shoots before I intend it to. Let's see if this can hit out at 30 yards. Miss. 35 yards maybe. Ooh, I think I saw where that's going. Yeah, okay. Now this 155 is shooting nicely. Again, the oil, these are both freshly oiled inside, so the oil is probably throwing their aim off a bit. I think this one's shooting perhaps, well, let's do a test. Well, it's shooting with pretty good. I'd say maybe just slightly less very much slightly less power than this older one. Well, we're calling it the older one because we're assuming it's cast iron. There it is. Hitting at 35. Should we try? Sure. Let's try even with it shooting the way it is. Let's see if we hit out at 50. Woo-hoo. Let's see. Now I am overcompensating, almost as if I were hitting out in the trenches. Now I'll show you how, each, especially with the vintage guns, you have to get used to their point of aim, work with their power level. You have to really compensate if their power level is compromised, especially out at 50 yards. Yeah. I'll give you an idea how easy it is to hit out at 50 yards. This is the Youth Carbine. It's a much smaller barrel, but it's shooting with full power. And of course, you guys know I'm really used to this. Oh, geez. Let's see. Here we go. Might be shooting over my target. Interception. Oh, geez. That was way out. I'm getting used to this point of aim now. Huh. Seems like it's shooting wild. Now this one has not been freshly oiled, so it is definitely shooter. The shooter is not shooting up to par today. That's all right. I was just trying to show you the 155s and oh, geez. Interception. I think we have to move. I think we're kind of a little too obtuse. Well, it's not as easy to hit out at 50 today, is it? Interception. My goodness. I don't think I've missed with this buck this many times. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of interceptions, so the trajectory is off. So sometimes if you just move a little bit, yeah, still interception. Oh, that's way off. I still seem to be shooting over my target. This is very interesting. Maybe I've too early hardwired. Overcompensating. Okay, now here's a strange situation. I can hardly even see the target, but I'm going to try to shoot over it. hard sell, way too high. Interception. There we go. Oh man, we earned that shot. So typically, it doesn't. Well, at this point, geez, might as well just try to hit out at 50 with this. We're gonna take that many shots. All right. Oh, I think they got a beat on it. Ooh, jeez. Oh boy. Yeah. Against all odds, that was a hit. Now, with this, we definitely have the additional challenge of the excess oil throwing the BBs off. There's no excuse for the buck, though. Should have been able to hit all day long with the buck. All right, well, I have no excuses other than just not really seeing. Yeah, interception. we can't quit on a miss. Here we go. Done. That was on this. A lot of times, as long as you know where the target is, but it might be covered by brush, because the BB is almost like shooting old World War I guns and shooting out at 600 yards or so. You're more lobbing the projectile, and so same thing with the BB guns. You're sort of lobbing the BB. So it's a really great training tool. Especially for shooting out at long distances. So anyway, that's it, guys. Yeah, the 155, the 102, and the 105B. I don't know. I'd say they're all the same gun except for just different painted barrel or nickel barrel. You know, the 102s even had the model 36, 1936. They came nickeled. Yeah. So I don't think any of the 155s. You know, when they make these, and you know, why would anybody want a lower shot count? You know, this is 1,000 shot, just like the Bennett's, right? The 1,000 shot. Why would you want? Well, this is probably an upgrade of the internals from the Bennett, so we can understand that. But why would you want a 102 or even a 105 or you know, something that doesn't have the capacity? Well, Bucky has, Daisy rather, has to. Yeah, they've got so much stock, they've got so much materials and these molds to make the guns, so they have to be creative and figure out different ways to you know, add value to the old guns. So in this case, the 102, that went over a bunch of sort of overhauls. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't show you. Should be looking down here. Yeah, the the 102, which again came out in 1933 and was made all the way out shoots until 1954. Went through so many, even though it was just a 500 shot, it went through all these external sort of superficial upgrades. It's interesting that the 155 sort of was made from 1946 to 1949, reintroduced in 1952 and 1953, and then 53 got a plastic, rather a painted barrel, I'm sorry. Yeah, in 1953, they started painting the barrels on these, so very interesting stuff. By then, I'm sure, by 1953, they were no longer made in Plymouth, but made in Rogers. Okay? But these are both Plymouth guns. And both shooting nicely. Maybe we'll have to do a chapter 2 or a return to the 155s. I think I certainly will do a return to the 155s. Just so I can show you how well they shoot once the excess oil has been cleared out of the shot tubes. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining me, guys and girls. Thanks for joining me, and remember, shoot safe. I shouldn't have to tell you that, right? Don't shoot at stuff. Don't shoot at live stuff. BBs aren't made for that. BBs are made for plinking or close range target shooting even, right? So these are as safe as you are smart. So be smart. Even with these, the velocity is low, but you can still hurt or damage property and stuff. So be very careful, all right? And always wear eye protection. Definitely. That's the main thing with these BBs. These BBs can bounce back at you from 500 yards away. I'm just kidding. But these, I've had BBs bounce back at me from 20 yards and bounce right back at me from 20 yards. So wear eye protection. It does, when they bounce back, they don't hurt you when they hit you, but if it hits you in the eye, that could be very uncomfortable or maybe even injurious. So always wear eye protection. BBs are especially bouncy. These things like to bounce. There are other types of ammo out there, frangible BBs, but I haven't tried those out yet. Let's see, anything else I want to share with you? Yeah, make sure you go to Facebook and like, friend, whatever it is. Say hi to us over on Facebook at Picking a Daisy. And certainly check out the pickingadaisy.com. And we've got our stand and deliver stickers available. They're nice, small, discreet little stickers. $4 postpaid anywhere in the U.S. And let's see, anything else? No, that's it. Now, and what's coming up, the next thing I'll be doing will be, I don't know what I'll do first, but there's going to be Picking a Daisy on eBay. The second one be the first one being done here on YouTube. And remember, the first Picking a Daisy on eBay is on Facebook. I'm going to be pulling out the Model C, which was made in the early first part of the 1900s. I don't recall exactly, maybe 1910, something around there. The Model C coming up, Picking a Daisy on eBay coming up, and that's it. Hey, thanks for sharing your time, spending some time with me here. And if you have any information, or if I've gotten anything wrong here on these Daisy vintage carbines, rifles. Leave it in the comments. Let me know if you have any information on these. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you know. Let me know what you got. And that's it. Oh, right. I'll see you next time, which will be very soon.